names of people that we're trying to accommodate in our lesson.
Okay, so last class we talked about figurative and literal language, and we had you get in groups, and we used this graphic organizer, if you remember. So this time I want you to write your name at the top so you don't lose them, and I want you to get in pairs and discuss what you know about similes. And if you don't know anything, that's fine. Just try to guess about the word. But if you do, go ahead and share that information with your partner. I will give you maybe a minute to do this. So go ahead.
Okay.
So
Are we talking
similes?
similes?
It sounds like similar.
So go ahead and write it right down.
I don't
Write
think
the
it's
term
right.
simile.
Simile right here.
Oh, well.
Smiles.
How do you spell it?
Smiles.
Smile?
It's like smiles. Yes, that's a great way to like. So that's how you spell similes.
Okay.
Oh.
But then go ahead and write it on your graphic organizer.
Okay.
Okay.
So
It reminds me of a smile.
Sounds
It's
like-
like a smile. So we use that as our mnemonic
Similar.
mnemonic device. Yeah.
Don't worry
or
about the
picture.
mnemonic device yet. We'll work on that
Okay.
together.
We
So-
can draw a smile.
And when you're ready, go ahead and look
Um,
back up at me so
okay.
I know.
isn't simile using like or as?
I don't know.
Looks like a smile.
Maybe. I thought it was just something about smiling.
Again, when you're ready, go ahead and look up at me so I know. And put your pens down. Okay, perfect. So I heard a couple of ideas. Sam, how about you tell us what you thought of?
I thought it looked like similar.
That is great. Well done. So you looked at the word to figure out what it might look like. And actually, you're very close. Did you guys come up with any other ideas?
Melanie did.
I once heard that it was kind of a simile uses like or as.
Wow, where did you hear that? Very well done.
My older sister.
Well done. Okay, so that is, as you wrote that in, what you know. We're going to be looking at these examples to fill in a definition. So as a class, I want turn your graphic organizers. The examples are written right here.
Just put our name at the top.
Please put your name at the top. Well done. And go ahead and put your period so I can look at these later. And
What's
I'll
the
return
period?
Infinity.
Period 4.
Period 4?
I put swag.
Okay. So we're going to read these together. And I want you to look for any ideas that you remember. For example, Sam said something similar, so maybe look for something similar in them. And Melanie said like or as, so maybe if you can look for those words and see if they're there. So we'll start with twinkle, twinkle, little star. Twinkle, how many of you heard this? Do we all know this?
Sam wants
Yes.
to
Sam, do you? No, let's not do that. I will read it first. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. So there we saw the word like, so why don't you circle that word real quick. Just to see if Melanie is right on what she heard from her sister. So here's another one. This one's by Christina Rossetti, who is a famous poet that one of you might be working on for your poet extravaganza.
Yes.
So, an emerald is as green as grass, a ruby red as blood. So Melanie said like or as, so why don't you circle those as words. Are we starting to see maybe the similar idea that Sam was looking at?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. What words do you see there that we've seen before?
Like.
Good, so why don't you circle those for me? Okay, we'll go to the next one. The air is like a butterfly with frail blue wings. Do we see another
Like.
word? Well done, Sam. And how about we raise our hands, though, when you
Oh,
need to
sorry.
Okay. So, these are some of my examples that I've written just to show you what similes are like. And these, I think you will also see the similar thing that we were looking for. Her teeth are as white as snow. This stale piece of bread is like a rock. So why don't you circle the words like or as that you see in there. Okay, so these are examples, and I want to turn back to the front. If you need to look back to look at the examples, they're right here. Let's try to create a definition as a class of what a simile might be. So, anybody have any ideas of what a simile might be based upon what we saw?
Well, from the examples, it seems like you're comparing something.
Okay, so let's write that down. Comparing. And remember, these don't have to be full sentences, it's just some ideas. So we have comparing. Did we notice any words used commonly? Sam.
Like or as.
So let's write those words down. Like or as. And from that, you can actually get the definition of simile. Simile is a comparison using words either like or as. And so for mnemonic device, actually, let's use Sam's what you know. So what was yours again?
Similar.
Great, that will be our mnemonic device. How does that sound? That can be one mnemonic device. It's similar. But I think you guys had one as well, what it sounded like. What did it sound like to you?
Like smile.
So maybe smile can be a mnemonic device because a smile is like a...
Simile.
Smile is like a simile. That works. Because it makes you happy when you see a simile.
Yes.
Right? Okay, great. Whichever one works for you, you can write either one or both. Now we're going to actually write some. Can you check what time it is real quick? Oh, wow, already. So now we're going to actually create some similes. So let's go back to my examples, flip the page. Oh, you're on the right page, good job. Okay, so my examples, I have shown two different types. The first one, I showed using the word as. And if you look at the format on your page, at the first format, I've shown a simile using as. So you start subject is as blank. So subject and then a description word and an object. So let's try to look at this with her teeth. You can actually write it in there if you want to. So I would write her teeth. And then, well, we change are since it's a plural. Are as white as snow. So do you see how that fits into that format? Bless you, Sam.
Thank you.
Do you see how that fits?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to now create a simile using that. And if you need an idea of what kind of simile, let's just pick a season that you guys really like. So what's your favorite season?
Summer.
Summer. Okay, so let's have summer be our subject. So go ahead and write summer is as, and what's a description word that you like? Or actually, let's think of something we can compare summer to. Summer.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, let's think. It's a happy time, right? So summer is as happy as...
Bright as the sun.
White as the sun?
Bright.
Bright as the sun. I love that. Let's write that one. So what are the two things you are comparing? Melanie?
You're comparing summer to being bright like the sun.
Great. So the two words you're comparing are summer and sun. So go ahead and let's do spring now. And by yourself or with your partner, either way, try to create another simile using the word as to compare spring. So spring, think maybe it's like a new birth, there's water, there's babies, there's colors, anything like that. And I'll be walking around to look.
Can you read my writing?
I can. I've been doing this all year.
Is this Twitter page?
Oh, I love that. Will you share that with the class?
Yes, I will.
This is harder than I thought.
It is a lot harder. They seem very easy, but you have to think about what to compare them with. Spring is as Twitter painted as bunnies. I love that. That's wonderful. Spring is as...
It's Twitter painted as bunnies.
Go ahead and take your time, Ellie. We'll wait for you. Because I have to write one too, so...
Can we do winter if we want to?
Yes, you can do any season. You can do anything you want.
Frigid. As a rock.
And when you're done with the spring one, I want you to look up at me.
Help me.
Yeah, do you need some help?
Yes.
Thank you, Melanie, for helping her.
No
And Sam, while you're waiting, why don't you
So,
go ahead and write another one for
spring is
winter?
as,
Okay.
let's see. What's a word you
I
use
like
to-
flowers.
Yeah. So as flowery.
As flowery, or maybe even comparing it. So spring is as good smelling as flowers, or as colorful as flowers.
I like colorful.
As colorful
That's actually
as
just like
flowers.
mine.
Oh.
That's like
No,
mine
it's
too.
perfect. You'll notice you find a lot of similar things when you're making similes about an idea. So actually, let's share our spring ones. How about that? Sam, I really liked yours. Why don't you share it?
Spring is as beautiful as a flower.
Perfect. So what were the two things you were comparing?
Poet.
He didn't even know it.
Beautiful and flower.
That's not,
Spring and flower.
so two subjects, yes, spring and flower, and then the description word that's for both of them is beautiful.
Okay.
So that's the way I want you to look at it. At the beginning and at the end of this one, you have a subject and an object. And in the middle, it's like their description word that matches both. So spring and flower, how are they similar? They're beautiful. They're both beautiful. So let's hear, I think we all did flower ones. I actually did a rainbow one, but I'm very similar to Melanie's. Let's hear Melanie's.
Okay. Spring is as colorful as flowers.
Good. So what were the two objects you were comparing?
Spring and flowers.
Good. And what was the description word to match both?
Colorful.
Perfect. And mine's actually really similar. Mine is spring is as colorful as a rainbow.
Boom.
So
So
I
good.
decided to find, a little more. Just kidding, guys. You guys are all wonderful. Okay, so I think everyone raise your hand and nod if you understand how to use similes with the word as.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, now we're going to go to the like. So this stale piece of bread is like a rock. How many of you have had a really stale piece of bread? Isn't it
Worst.
horrible? I think one time I bit into it and I thought my teeth were going to fall out. It was so hard. So that's what we're going to write about this time. We're going to use the word like. So again, I want you to fill in the places of this one. Okay, and this one I've actually added a little part, which makes it a little harder, but I'll explain it. So this stale piece of bread is like a rock. The first part, the subject, this stale piece of bread. And what is it like? It's like a rock. So that fills in the two first spaces. So why don't we write those down real quick? So the first one is this stale piece of bread. Does that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Sam, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Perfect. And what is it like?
A rock.
The simile.
What about the
But
because?
that's the part that I wanted to add because I want to make sure that you understand the comparing part. So I added the because. Why would a stale piece of bread be like a rock?
Because it's hard.
Great, that's all you need to write, because it is hard. And I only need you to do this when you're making ones now. When we write our simile poems, you don't have to do that. You can be as creative as you want, but I just want to make sure that you understand that right now. So how about we take another season, let's do fall this time, and I want you to try to think of a comparison with another object. So let's think, we could do rain, we could do colors again, fall is like a rainbow, fall is like a red balloon, any idea that you have. If you need some help, raise your hand. And don't worry, you can totally talk with your peers, any ideas. I'll be writing one as you go too. So just think of what fall reminds you of.
What'd you do, Sam?
I did. Fall is like a pumpkin because it is orange.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And orange is a very common color in fall.
Yes.
And you could even relate it to Halloween. So there's so many different comparisons you can have right there. It looks like you guys are a lot faster this time, so we'll just do it.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'll give you more time. So if you guys are done, go ahead and write another one.
Okay.
Spring, summer, winter, fall. ¿Qué más?
No, that's too dark.
Yeah, that's so scary.
If you want to write dark, that's fine. Anything that works for you, I just won't call on you, so we don't scare the class. Whatever works for you. And when you're ready, make sure to look at me. Put your pencils down. But I would also like it if anybody is struggling next to you, because sometimes these are hard to write, just go ahead and help. So Melanie, if you could help Melanie.
Do you want some help, Melanie?
I'm just trying to think of an object.
So, when you think of fall, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Photographs.
So, fall is
Perfect.
like a photograph.
Okay.
Because,
That's a little
why?
Just because everything is so crisp.
Yes, that's a good
Melanie,
one.
that's wonderful. Would you like to share that with the class?
Sure.
See, I would like this to point out, even though Melanie took a little bit longer, hers is amazing. And that's one thing I want you to know as writers. You don't have to be really fast. You can take your time. I love yours, Melanie. Could you share it with us?
Sure. Fall is like a photograph because it's crisp.
And I love that because it brings in the imagery, which is another one we will learn later, but it makes the image of dry leaves that you stomp on. Isn't that such a fun thing, a fun part of fall?
Yes.
Melanie, would you like to share yours as well?
Yeah, I said fall is like a fire. Because the leaves change colors.
Oh, like it's turning into a
Yes.
fire, the leaves.
The different
It's
colors.
like the trees are on fire. That's a great simile, you guys. And I want you to notice one thing. You haven't learned about imagery yet, but you'll be learning them, I think, at the end of this week. Imagery is about images, and that's what you're creating with these similes. You're creating images like a fire and a photographs and a pumpkins and colors. So you're doing a really great job. Okay, so now we are actually going to start working on our poems of similes. You guys have done a wonderful job. But before we do, so start thinking of what you might want to start, writing your poem on. But before we do, I want you to pick one of those that you just wrote down, and write it in your example box. And if you like somebody else's, you can write that in your box too. But go ahead and write it down and then draw a picture to show it. Because like I was saying, similes create pictures. So go ahead and take some time to do that.
Oh, I know.
That's my leaf.
Okay, I'm going to turn this.
Yeah, that's my leaf too.